Get some testimonies real quick. Going back in for the hearing. It's gonna be super quiet. Just gotta work around the BS.
You're going to have a lot less potency in your hemp, which is fine if you have the acreage to do it. Texas is one of those states where in Kentucky, an average hemp farm might be 5 acres, 50 acres is a big one, 200 acres is really big. Here, you can do 1,000 acres, no problem. Because of that, you can use common seed and you can broadcast your seed as opposed to planting in rows. So the costs go down significantly. The trouble though is if you're going to have a lower quality hemp, meaning the CBD potency is lower, that there are stems and stalks and there are a lot of seeds, it's more difficult to process because particularly if you're running it through CO2 or solvent, we don't.
Replenishing the soil, nitrate accumulator, helping leave you with your 30 advantage.
Yes, actually hemp is a very good rotational crop. It's often followed corn. Hemp is good at drawing up a lot of salt and other less desirable minerals in the soil. So I know in states like Kentucky and Tennessee, it's often used as a rotational crop, absolutely.
And it was interesting this morning, we were kind of joking in my office there, wherein if the hemp market develops as we anticipate, and if the price of oil starts to deteriorate, we can actually use sweet crude to irrigate hemp crop, and it also acts as a herbicide and insecticide.
If you approve that, then I'm sure there will be people who consider it.
I think the members of Bureau's question and comments, and one of those is, I've got 22 counties, and probably well over half are in cotton. One of my counties would be 640,000 acres. So, versus 12,000 that was grown in Kentucky. I think that, and it's one of my concerns that when we hear $5,000 an acre profit, everybody's going to think 640,000 acres. If I took one of my counties, I would crush the market. Right. If it went into full production. But that doesn't mean they shouldn't have the right to do it and that, but it also needs to be understood. I think that if it went to a massive scale, you would probably see it come back into $600 for cotton, $400 for corn, or $300 for soybeans, and where you look into it.
I agree. I agree that the market is going to flatten out. No doubt about it. It's going to go down. The reason it's so expensive right now is because there were no genetics. There were no farmers that were growing hemp until very recently. It took a while for farmers to understand that it was okay to grow hemp, to take the leap and to learn how to grow hemp. The techniques, the agronomy is getting better and better every single day. And the more people that farm, you're absolutely right, as a commodity, the price is going to go down. It's not going to be something where everybody's going to get rich overnight. Absolutely not. And crops fail. We know that. There could be a hurricane. There could be blight. There could be lots of reasons for a crop to fail. The 2018 Farm Bill now provides for crop insurance for the first time. That's another reason people are now starting to cultivate hemp. But I'll tell you this, there really is not a basis for crop insurance for hemp yet, for the simple reason that there hasn't been enough for the insurance companies to really evaluate the cost. So yes, I agree with you completely.
We appreciate you coming all the way from Lexington, Kentucky to help educate us.
Thank you. No, it's my pleasure. If you have any other questions, let me know. The last thing I wanted to mention about transportation, because this is a huge deal. If you give me 1 minute, do you mind if I address transportation?
We've got a whole
So the way that it works is you have to have a transportation manifest saying that where it came from is from a licensed grower, where it's going is a licensed processor. You have to have copies of the licenses, you have to have copies of the certificates of analysis, and you have to have a manifest that shows what it is. Under this bill, it goes a step farther, that you have to have a QR code saying exactly what it is you're transporting, and it's linked to a site where law enforcement or the TDA or anyone else can on site immediately look and see who it is, where it came from, what it is, and where it's going. That is very, very important, and if there's anything that I would stress is transparency, openness from seed to sale, testing all the way along the line, make sure the rules are followed, and you will have a very, very successful industry here in Texas. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair calls Stephen Thompson.
Chairman and members of the committee. My name is Stephen Thompson from Argyle, Texas, just outside of Dallas, and I am in support of Bill 1325. I am here representing Zalise, a company that I'm the founder and CEO of. Also, I serve as the Executive Vice President of the United States Hemp Roundtable as well. I support this bill for three primary reasons. Number one, this year my company fully expects to sell north of $100 billion of hemp-derived CBD products here in Texas. Yet over 100 of the jobs that we provide have to be out of state because we are not able to process here in the state. In addition to that, from a farming perspective, it is crazy for us to market this much product from hemp that is grown in Kentucky and Colorado when we can do it right here in Texas. And finally, traceability. What is so awesome about this bill, the QR code that we first instituted in Indiana, it basically gets rid of the bad actors, and it allows reputable companies that are legitimate to be able to come to the forefront, and it will eliminate again, the individuals that are coming into this industry for making out the right reasons. So, thank you.
All right, members, any questions? All right, thank you. Appreciate it very much. Next, chair calls Bob Avant. Bob, I apologize if I gave it my best shot, I promise.
So yeah, the hemp thing is still going through. That's going to take a while for them to come up with a decision. It looks like most of the people that are here are actually in favor of 1325. So yeah, that's good. We're moving on to go back to the other room where they're hosting the cannabis hearing for decriminalization. I'm gonna go ahead and try to get a couple of footage of that. The problem is that one's dragging on a little bit. They're trying to get all of the other bills out of the way beforehand. That way it's not as problematic and they're not taking their time, you know, dealing with something that isn't that big of a deal. So I think they may have taken a short recess or something. I'm gonna pop back in the room and see what's going on. It was really informational, that last guy. That was pretty cool. All right, and we're here. That's 216, so I'm gonna go further down. I'm looking for 236. It's funny, Monopoly maze they call.
Miss Christina? Oh, hey, how are you? Are you crying? How are you? How are you doing? Oh, girl, just keeping busy.
I'm sorry, I just kind of got emotional. The reason why I'm here. Hey, Nathaniel, I haven't testified yet, but...
You're about to?
I don't know when I am. I have to see when the bill comes up. It is for decriminalization. And, you know, when I was in high school, I went to jail for a joint. It was really bad, you know. I couldn't go to any work for the summer.
Turn where that Sonic is. I'm gonna take left right there.
My district, I know where that Sonic is.
Right between Sonic and Walmart. So.
All right. Head south down there, live on 84 a little bit?
Yes, sir.
All right. Good. Yeah, we're 83 actually, but well, good. I appreciate it. A lot of us represent landowners, especially those like Chairman King and myself. We have a lot of folks that are in urban areas, but they have ranches come out and work those and make sure that land's productive. So it's good to give you options. Committee, any questions? All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Good afternoon, Chairman. My name is Erin Robinson. I'm in favor of the bill, representing myself. I own a nursery in East Texas. It's in Quitman, and population is about 1,800 people. We are working with other farmers that are trying to find a sustainable crop. I studied at Cal Poly University in California for sustainable agriculture, so environment is very important to me. My husband worked at this nursery before he enlisted for the Air Force. It used to be ornamental flowers. As you know, that uses a lot of harmful herbicides and pesticides, so keeping it organic is very important to me. I think hemp has a huge opportunity for Texas. There's plenty of farmers that have plenty of land. We're a nursery, so we could provide a facility to keep those genetics that are going to be good growing in different climates that Texas offers. There's about 4 different growing zones that industrial farmers are going to be looking at. So we really want to be involved with, I know we have Go Texan program, Farmer Veteran Coalition. There's plenty of resources out there to where when this bill does get passed, that we want to be an available resource for our fellow farmers, and also just really helping them know how to grow the product, from seed to product or different strains. There's even ruderalis. There's so many different parts of hemp that will be available to any farmer in Texas. So in those packets, there's plenty of great information of what hemp could do. It's taking apart of cotton. Everybody in here is probably wearing cotton, and in 10 years we could see a lot more of us be wearing hemp and not being so expensive because China's the one that's producing it. They're the one that's making the product. So I believe that we could bring that into Texas. We can make a lot of farmers be successful, not losing their farms. We're 2 veterans that, by this grace of God, that we have our property, and we're really wanting to turn it in the right direction, and not, flowers are pretty, but it's not exactly good for the environment. So.
Representative Butler.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. When you look at, let's say, the growing of hemp for fiber, from what, and I'm learning a lot today, but from what I understand, this would be the way to go with a much lower cost or barrier to entry. Is that right? Because the seeds would be different, or a different type of plant. Is that correct?
Yes, yeah, different, hemp has different strains, different, more for fiber, that is 10 times stronger than cotton. It's better for the soil. There's less water that is being wasted, that it could really benefit that industry. And then also it could grown in Texas will, definitely help, like a price point, help knowing that it's coming from here and not made in China.
Thank you.
And also with the 0.3%, I know a farm in Kentucky and other states that grow hemp. I think what's really going to hurt our farmers is if they're told to burn their crop, to where there could be a certain license for fiber. So if I'm a farmer that has land, and heat stress is what makes THC percentage change. And so if you're about to harvest, you're finally, maybe have to pay a couple bills off as a farmer, and you get taught that you're going to be told to burn your crop, but there's also different industries that the food grade doesn't even pertain, and that's where like the percentage really holds into. So I really think that should be kind of considered when these farmers are going to be wanting to grow it in southern Texas. It's really hot down there, and you don't want to set them up for failure. And also having these licenses, and you're probably going to be paying a couple $1,000 a year just to hold this license to grow hemp. So we're really wanting to set our farmers up for success, and that should be kind of like taken into consideration.
Members, any other questions? Karen, I appreciate your service in the Navy.
Oh, thank you.
Chair calls Rudolfo Montez.
That's correct, Chairman. How you doing?
Oh, okay, 2 days, right? Shocker.
My name is Rudy Montez. Thank you, Chairman, members of the board. I represent myself, Phoenix Incorporated, and all my veterans that are out there. I am in favor and support the bill. Access to genetics to grow hemp in Texas will be the biggest challenge for new hemp farmers. Please don't make it harder for us or put restrictions on farmers on the front end. Texas has the opportunity to become the gold standard in the state of hemp programs if implemented from lessons learned in other states such as Kentucky, Colorado, Oregon, Maine. Industry leaders understand that the term certified seed refers to the stability and maintenance of seeds genetics to ensure optimal cultivar performance. There are already some national certification processes enforced by the Association of Seed Certifying Agencies in cooperations with other organizations such as the International Seed Testing Association and organizations for economic cooperations. There's no reason to recreate this wheel. Let Texas farmers grow the hemp Collaboration with farmers and seed organizations will be critical in ensuring the success of this agricultural commodity. National research in regards to the genetics, both seed and clones, will provide economic growth for Texas. Regulations framework should be directed at the back end when the crops are harvested and tested, which is required under federal hemp laws already. Lawmakers should suggest and educate on why it is best farming practice to buy certified seed versus requiring and mandating during the application process. Over-regulation at the entry point is expensive and administratively burdensome and will create unnecessary barriers to entry for Texas farmers. I work with veterans who are excited to farm and find that work in the soil, and with other veterans have only has agriculture commodity value, but at the value for veterans' overall health and wellness. And as a veteran for myself for 20 years, and I still work for the State Department, I come back here, I find more veterans, just like Erin was another veteran who just came up here a while ago, working with her, working with a lot of other ones that are in the back of the room, and I appreciate, all their support, and yours well support as well. And what we like to do is being able to identify those farmers and be able to help them out by some of the programs that we already been, some of the lessons we already been learning from our other growers in other states, and bringing them back here to Texas for Texans, kind of making America hemp again. Subject to your questions?
Yes, members, any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Montez. Appreciate your service.